Aaron, this is the Lone Star channel, this is Tyler Kapper. The reason why we're having Tyler on is obviously he's like done a ton of videos for Lone Star Drift. He's been around for a long time. He's a great authentic person. He's a media guy. He's been shooting with us for what, 4 years now?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, my first event was in 2014, but I was just taking pictures.
Yeah, well, the whole reason why we're doing this is just like the fielding episode and some of the other episodes. I think it's really interesting when guys follow their passion and they create a career out of it. So a lot of guys at our events are trying to host, or a lot of the guys at our drift events doing media, they maybe take pictures of hobby, you know, maybe they take some, they think they're gonna sell some, whatever their model is, maybe they're trying to vlog now. Tyler is somebody that passionately shot for maybe 3 to 4 years, got really good, and through the media he was doing and networking through the events and networking through everything, you eventually climbed out of Lone Star Drift and now you do this professionally. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So tell us your story as I cut you off.
That's good. Yeah, so I started doing photography. Started doing photography around 2008 or so, just getting out of high school. I kind of got interested in it, and my mom, she's been doing photography like her entire life. So I've kind of been around it my whole life. And I learned about drifting and like learned that it was actually a real thing that real people do, and I was just like baffled. So I went to go see it for my first time in 2014. Kind of just like took some pictures, and my pictures from that event were awful. I had no idea what I was doing. The lighting at the event was just awful. It was a rainy event. I didn't know what I was doing, and kind of like over the years kind of began to teach myself like by seeing what everyone else was doing, and just kind of like grew little at a time and just was persistent. I kept going back, and I really enjoyed what I was doing. And then like one thing led to another. I started meeting people and making friends, and met some drivers, and the drivers kind of like wanted a certain thing from me, and I tried to give that to them, and by doing that I was teaching and learning, and ended up going to a few events. Like I went to Low Style Heroes. Low Style Heroes, I met Fred from Zestino, and that kind of led me into doing a few other things. And the driver Ryan Literal, he asked me for the footage from that event because my footage looked good. So through that, I got to go to Grid Life Midwest, and then at Grid Life Midwest, I met the guys at NRG, and from meeting the guys at NRG, they kind of wanted me to do some work for them, and I did a few little projects for them, and that kind of turned into a full-time job. They offered me a position, and it was kind of hard to turn down.
Yeah, so you went from shooting events in Texas, you shot a bunch of events, you used those to get really good, to network. You then started shooting nationally and getting paid for it, and then you started to actually work full-time for NRG in California, and that's now a full-time job making money, right?
That's right.
That's
awesome.
Where we're at. And it's important for you to realize, like people to realize, you didn't make money at the Texas events. Even if you were getting paid somewhat, it was all just like your passion. It took a long time to get good, right?
Yeah, I started out terrible. Like my videos from like 2016 or 2017, they were just awful, absolutely awful.
I'm not agreeing with you like that, but like, you know.
No, they were bad. They were bad. They're not something to be proud of. It's not like I'd like reach out to any regular company and be like, hey, look at my videos, they're amazing, because they weren't. I was just learning and teaching myself and trying to provide the people that were paying me with what they wanted.
Yeah. I think what's really important now is like, now that you have someone paying you to do your work, NRG, you're going to continue traveling, you're going to continue being in front of great things. Because like one of the things events provide is if you have a camera and you're having fun and you're at home, you don't have anything to shoot. Like when you're at an event, you have all these people, you've got a track, you've got great cars, you've got everything's going on for you for 2 days. It's like having moving models in front of you. You know, like, so you get tons of practice there. And then when you now work for NRG, you're going to King of the Hammers, you're going to all these events where you constantly have awesome stuff to shoot, and it's your imagination is like your only limitation, and someone's now paying for you to do it all. So you can be creative and you can just shoot. So, you know, you can keep elevating yourself to the next level. Your demo reel gets better and better and better. You're now on a really good track, because before it's kind of hard to shoot when you have a day job that's full time. And the actual media thing is only on the side. Now that it's full time, you have the ability to do it 10 times more than you did before.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
The time that I would spend in the office doing my regular grind, my regular job, whatever, like is now spent editing, is now spent coming up with ideas for things to do, is now spent doing those cool things that I've been wanting to do. And I've got a team of cool people behind me that want to elevate me and elevate the company that I'm working for at the same time. So it's actually working out really well.
So how does a new person start? They go get a camera. Do they need anything fancy, or they just need a DSLR or just an iPhone?
Yeah, if you want to get started vlogging on an iPhone, that works.
Well,
you're good at that.
First of all, I would say what you do is not vlogging.
No, I don't do vlogging.
You're trying to become a professional like DOP, director of photography, or something like that, and cameraman.
Yeah, something like that. Eventually, I'd like to get into doing more cinematic type stuff, but I just don't have a passion for cinematography, for telling stories. I like to do coverage, like more journalistic rather than cinematic. But to get started, really, you just need like a basic camera, like any regular DSLR. Sony makes amazing cameras that are great for video. Anything going back to like a 5D Mark II is fantastic. You can get a $500 camera. That seems expensive to people, but it's not. You can get something 10 years old that's a DSLR that shoots video now, and you are completely set to go do your thing. It's just the glass that you buy. The glass is the important part.
That means lens.
Yeah, lenses. Yeah, the lenses are the important part. Lenses are great because they enable you to see things differently, and that's what does everything for you, is the glass. I like glass.
Next up is, it's kind of a weird thing, but you need to become like a friend with a driver or someone, so that you are networked at the events and you're having fun and you have access to someone's car to place GoPros and do all this other stuff. You need like friendly access to everything, and so you feel included in the events. Go film with someone and all this stuff. Are you having trouble there, Patrick?
Yeah, you need to be able to elevate yourself, you need someone else to use to elevate yourself. And like I was saying, the company's elevating me by me trying to elevate the company. It works the same with a driver. If you've got a driver that you can pair up with and try and elevate that driver is going to lift you with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so don't pick the ugliest, crappiest car at the event or the worst driver and think that you're gonna like build with him along the way. Go choose someone really good. That's already gone through everything.
You need someone that can help you learn what to do, right? So, for example, working with Fielding and Hoonigan and Harrison, like those are 3 guys that kind of have their stuff together. And I was able to produce some media based around them, and that kind of helped me learn how to create media based around something, right? It's that something that you can use to sell. And then like working for NRG, my something is the drivers that are sponsored by NRG and the products that NRG sells, as well as the company itself. So being able to put something in its best light is what's important.
I guess jumping back a tiny bit, how many years do you think you had to put in before you had a sellable product that you could be proud of and stuff? I mean, because you're obviously not going to be selling yourself for a long time, like 4 years? About how?
Yeah, it took me a few years to be able, like, I'd say probably, like, to get to where I feel comfortable taking on a full-time job doing what I'm doing, probably about 4 years is what I put into it. But doing just like from start to finish, like it's been too many years. I like to think that I'm a fast learner, but
there's so much to learn.
There's really a lot to learn. Like I was really slow to pick up a lot of things. And develop a style.
What else to cover?
Good.
All right. Well, we're in California right now. We're at some beach. What is this? Santa Monica Beach, I think.
Santa Monica.
He lives here. we're out here researching Super D. As an event organizer, I go and I research other events all over. Like, I went to Australia to research the bracketing system I was going to use, Japan to research all kinds of stuff on fun and like authentic drifting stuff. We went to Grid Life last year. I go all over the place. I've been to hundreds of events around the world that are not my own. God, that's crazy.
That was a lot.
So anyways, I'm out here, we're gonna research what's making this special, and we just happen to be chatting with him. Before we get up, I'm gonna try and think of something else real fast. Would you say that this is a sustainable career that you can now take forward, and that you're pretty confident that it's gonna work out over the next, say, 5 to 6 years? To put food on your plate, to have a car, maybe to buy a house, you know, like, to make stuff work?
So, yes, leading up to this, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Like, it took a lot of support from friends and family to get to where I'm at. It's not just something I was able to pick up and do, but yeah, I think that over the next 4 or 5 years, that I think that I've got something that I'll be able to grow upon. So I mean, like I said, like getting into doing some cinematic type stuff would be cool. But yeah, it's definitely still a learning process. Like I don't know everything. I think over the next 5 years, I'll be able to grow a lot and become a much better version of me today, all while making a sustainable living.
Will you still be doing car stuff?
Probably. I like cars.
You like it?
I like cars. I like all of the friends that I've made based around cars. I don't think I'd ever stop. I think it'd be really cool to get to be really good at the branding and the marketing side of it, and use my knowledge in branding and marketing to be able to work for other companies that aren't just automotive-based companies.
Okay. And real quickly, this should have been said at the beginning, but what he's doing, there's many types of media nowadays with drifting. You've got people that are doing vlogging, which are controlling the distribution of their stuff. They're controlling the content creation, the distribution, the whole channel. But typically they're not doing super cinematic stuff or certain types of content. What he's doing is not distribution and becoming a vlogger or anything like that. He's creating content. He's going out and shooting and covering things for companies and doing more like corporate work. It's not really corporate work because it's race car stuff or King of the Hammers or whatever, but he's creating content. And then he doesn't necessarily have the distribution means to get paid for ad revenue on YouTube or anything like that model. Right. He's getting directly paid by a client to make each video and then turn it in so that they can use it as some type of marketing. So there's many ways to do different types of media nowadays. He's not, you know, hitting up all the drivers at events, you know, for $100. No, wait, you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. But that's not how he would make his money, because that's not a sustainable amount of money, you know, over however many events. He needs a real paycheck. So him getting $300 or $400 off drivers at events is only enough to cover himself and his traveling expenses. It's not enough to cover his gear. It's not enough to cover his food, his car. Well, maybe his car, he drives a Civic. But all that stuff. He needs to find some type of corporate work where he is going to make real money to sustain himself. So I want to be very clear about the differences on that stuff. Even the Lone Star Drift channel at our size doesn't sustain itself. Like, we do video stuff for fun and just because it, you know, makes sense with the channel and with the drivers, and we're trying to promote the drivers and have fun. And it's a big and I was gonna say it's a big experiment with the Lone Star Drift stuff. He needs a real meal and like house and all that stuff, so that requires him finding a real job. So I just wanted to clarify, you know, how all this stuff works a little bit, because I think a lot of the time people set out to become like a media person and they're just shooting randomly and they have no idea how they're going to make a business plan out of this. Right. They don't even know what a business plan is. They're like, oh, I'm going to go charge a bunch of drivers $100 each and somehow make money. And at the end of the thing, you're like, you can only work 10 events a year and make $300 an event. Like, you can't live off that. That's not anything. Right. So
media people.
Yeah, someone just rode by doing video. Oh, there's Che. I see what they're doing. And she was much prettier than us. Much, much prettier. That's not hard though. So I think that's it. Do you have anything to add, Patrick? Patrick's our cameraman today. He has no idea what he's doing.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, Tyler. Congratulations on your new job.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. I hope we covered everything.
Well, that sounds good. I hope that looks good. What are you guys doing? What's going on?
excited. I mean.